The devs just revealed their plans for Stellaris 4.5 open beta this summer, and one of the changes could fundamentally reshape how we play the game. They are experimenting with replacing the Starbase limit with a unified structure limit that would include kilostructures and possibly even megastructures. If this goes through, the 1 per type megastructure cap could be gone. On top of that, we are getting a Galactic Resource Abundance Slider, the fleet reorder status change from never to unlikely, and a massive Q&A session dropped dozens of confirmed mechanics that nobody's talking about. So let me walk you through everything. Quick report from High Command before we dive deeper. Most of you watching aren't officially enlisted yet. If this run gives you ideas for your own games, subscribe and join our Navy. A player asked the devs whether they have considered removing the megastructure caps, balanced by having the modifiers not stacked, so a second science nexus would be less powerful than the first. The game director answered that one of the things they are probably going to experiment with during the summer is changing the Starbase limits into a structure limit, which would also include changing the limits on kilostructures and possibly even megastructures. If their internal experiments go well, they expect it to go into an open beta at some point, but let's unpack what this actually means. Right now, Starbase and megastructure limits are completely separate systems. You have a cap on how many starbases you can upgrade beyond outpost level, and after that you get massive starbase upkeep increases, and you also have a hard cap of 1 per megastructure type without considering the kilostructures. Now those two systems, they don't interact at all. What the devs are proposing is merging these into a single structure limit. Your empire gets a pool of structure capacity, and everything starbases, kilostructures, and potentially megastructures draws from the same pool. So building a second science nexus wouldn't be forbidden like it is today. It would just consume structure capacity that you could otherwise spend on starbases or other constructions. But think about what this means for gameplay. Right now, if you want to build multiple copies of a megastructures, you have to use the vessel integration trick, which we covered in our infinite megastructures video. You release sector as vassals, you make the AI build megastructures, then you integrate them back. That strategy works, but it is a tedious multi-decade process. It takes a lot of time. If the structure limit goes through, you could just build a second Dyson sphere directly, a third science nexus, multiple interstellar assemblies, all legitimate, all from your own construction menu, at the cost of structure capacity that competes with your Starbase infrastructure. It's also interesting to see that nomadic gameplay implemented one thing called station capacity, which is something different than the Starbase capacity. It's a much larger limit, as we can see during our gameplays, and it also just affects the way stations, but who knows, perhaps this is just one step into implementing the structure limit. But of course, the devs were very careful with their language, probably going to experiment if our internal experiments go well at some point, so this isn't confirmed, it's a direction that they are exploring. The player's original suggestion included non-stacking modifiers as a balance mechanism, meaning that a second science nexus might give less research speed than the first one, or not give research speed bonuses at all, just a flat amount of research. Now whether the devs adopt that specific approach or something different is still unknown, but the fact that the game director is talking about this publicly means it's beyond the concept phase. They are actively testing it internally, and if it lands in the 4.5 open beta this summer, we could be playing with unlimited megastructures before the end of the year. Now let me know what you guys think about this change. Do you like having only one megastructure type across all of your empires, or would you like to build several of them, even if it means that the future ones would be less productive than the first ones? Now another player asked if the game could offer more configurable galaxy settings for different pacing preferences. The game director confirmed that a Galactic Resource Abundance Slider is planned for the 4.5 open beta this summer. Right now, we can adjust crisis strength, starting conditions, number of AI empires, naval capacity, and command limits, but we have never been able to control how many resources exist in the galaxy itself. The mineral deposits on asteroids, the energy from stars, the strategic resources scattered across the systems. This slider would change that. You want a resource-rich galaxy where everyone is doubles fast? Crank it up. You want a resource-scarce galaxy where every deposit matters and expansion is cutthroat? Turn it down. For nomadic empires specifically, this is huge. Your entire economy revolves around harvesting celestial objects, and more resources in the galaxy means more to harvest, which means faster operational reserves generation, which means you can sustain the burning approach longer. A high abundance galaxy could make nomads even stronger than they already are. For modern gameplay, this is also a big deal. If you're running difficult mods like Gigastructure Engineering or playing extreme crisis challenges, being able to control galactic wealth adds another layer of customization that we have never had. And there is actually a funny story behind this. The devs revealed in the Q&A that space-based deposits in the current release are actually more common than intended. Almost every object in the galaxy has something on it. It was a bug, but the devs thought it was fun enough that they are turning this into a slider instead of just fixing it. Another player asked about the status of the outliner allowing fleets to be reordered. The devs answered it has gone from never to unlikely. For those of you who, like me, have a strong need to organize everything, this is at least movement. Currently our fleet list in the outliner is a mess. Your first fleet is at the top, your 30th fleet is next, then your 7th, then your 2nd. There is no way to manually sort them, and it has been driving organized players insane for many years. The devs previously said this would never happen, now it's unlikely. That's not planned or likely, but it's a shift in position. And the fact that they are willing to publicly downgrade from never suggests someone internally has been advocating for it, or they found a technical approach that makes it less impossible than they originally thought. So if you care about this feature, keep asking. Unlikely is closer to maybe than never was. Now the Q&A session dropped a massive amount of confirmed mechanics that most people haven't noticed, so let me go through the biggest ones. We now know the exact probability table for the deep scan outcomes. There is a 50% chance that nothing happens, and this chance increases every time you deep scan the same planet. 25% uncover a new resource deposit. This also removes the resource depletion modifier from previous harvesting, meaning that you can harvest the same object again. 15% you uncover a resource cache, which is a one-time resource bonus. 7% you uncover an anomaly, and 3% you uncover an archaeology site. The most important detail here is that 25% you uncover a resource deposit that removes resource depletion. This means deep scanning is not just an exploration tool, it's a resource generation mechanic. You could harvest a celestial object, deplete it for 20 years, deep scan it, and if you hit that 25%, the depletion is removed and you can harvest it again immediately. For nomads who stay in a region of space rather than constantly moving, this creates a sustainable harvesting loop, and you could also abuse this with something like an arc furnace. Finding archaeological sites through the deep scanning means the Nomadic Empire have many more tools to finding those, and obviously you can get great outcomes from it, like the Blade of the Huntress. On top of that, Nomadic Empires can pretty much excavate anywhere in the galaxy. You don't even need to have a way station, so you could just spam this mechanic trying to find all the archaeological sites throughout the game. The devs also addressed the community requests for the bio-ships directly. They explained that creating Arkship variants for all 20 ship sets across 3 types and 3 tiers would require 180 ships, an impossible scope. But here is the interesting part. The game director said that if they ever add a Bio-Arkship, he would want it to be a 4th category with its own unique mechanics than just a risking of the existing 3. And he confirmed that the reverse would also apply. Mechanical ship empires would be allowed to use the Bio-Arkship variant if it existed. This suggests that Bio-Arkships aren't just a cosmetic request that the devs are dismissing, they have a design vision for how it would work. 4th category with unique mechanics mean it would play differently from the civilian, scientific and military Arkships. Whether this happens in a future DLC or a free update is unknown, probably in a free update, right, but the design intent is there. Buried in the dev's diary explanation of the operational reserves was a casual mention that the tech they developed for merging energy and minerals into a single fungible resource gave them what they needed to explore a nice niche for a nanotech redesign that the custodians will be looking at during the summer. This is a quiet confirmation that nanotech ascension is getting reworked. The operational reserve systems converting 2 resources into one pool with approach modifiers would serve as the mechanical foundation for a redesigned nanotech path. We don't know the details, but the Custodian team is actively working on it. On the Discord servers and on the forums, the devs also said that they are discussing some ideas to make the arc furnaces produce nanites instead of minerals or alloys, and the game director also said that they are planning on replacing all the physical resources with nanites. But of course, this is all up to change. In my opinion, I think that would be really cool, because nanotech as it is, we have to pretty much wait until the end game before we can get good access to nanites. We will need to wait until our deposits grow over time. The nanite whorls, they are not pretty efficient and making the nanites that we need in order to support our fleets, and now with the addition of nanite upkeep for ships, that has become incredibly difficult to have immensely powerful fleets. But what do you guys think? Do you like the current nanotech mechanics, or would you prefer this redesign that they are thinking of? We don't have much information about it, but yeah, any changes to the nanotech as it is, it's gonna be pretty good because nanotech is one of the most underwhelming ascensions. It takes a lot of time to go online, and when it does, you still are not that strong. Another player asked how crisis paths work for nomads, since all crisis paths depend on some form of megastructures. The devs answered that most crisis paths actually work quite well out of the box because you can own megastructures without owning the system. The exception that they said is the Cosmogenesis, which requires pops and broke things, but they are investigating it. This is significant because Cosmogenesis is one of the strongest in-game paths in the game. If they manage to make it work for nomads, combined with the plus 50% specialist job efficiency from the burning approach and the district weapon damage stacking, nomadic Cosmogenesis could become the most powerful build in Stellaris. Imagine you automating 75% of your soldier job workforce and getting all of these weapon bonuses in your military Arkships, getting your population only on the civilian Arkships and scientific ones to produce your research and resources, while you just send automated Arkships to the battle with massive amount of modifiers. Also, the game director confirmed they have plans for ship design automation in the 4.5 open beta. An idea that they are discussing is using the ship role as a template, so for instance a brawler ship will have medium and small weapons, whereas an artillery one would carry more kinetic artilleries and long-range weaponry. This could also tie into the existing AI behaviors because currently the AI is pretty inefficient at building ships. They're just gonna build whatever depending on their effects, and sometimes these designs are severely outdated and they just produce random designs that are not good at anything. This would also help some players that just don't want to design their own ships. You just want to focus on other aspects of the gameplay, that being exploration, economy, but not necessarily designing your own ships. So you could just set up a template, you could then have the design that the devs consider to be a good design for that class of ships, and then you could just play out the game. So this could be a significant quality of life improvement both for the AIs and also for the players. Now, stepping back from the individual reviews, the Q&A paints a clear picture of where Stellaris is going over the next 6 to 12 months. This summer's 4.5 Cygnus open beta is shaping up to be massive. The structure limit rework potentially removing the megastructure caps, the Galactic Resource Abundance Slider, the ship design automation, the Nanotech redesign, and additional nomadic origins, so that's not a minor patch at all. The Willpower DLC will focus on external politics, effects attraction, and deeper precursor lore, and combined with the ongoing Nomad support, the dev team is simultaneously pushing 3 different axes: gameplay systems with the structure limits and automation, narrative depth with the Lost Makers, and also the scenario packs where we'll be able to play as the Unbidden and build diversity with more nomadic origins and the Nanotech rework. The devs also directly addressed the Chinese community's concern about nerfing stronger strategies versus buffing weak ones. Their response was clear. They prefer buffing old content, citing Custodian updates 3.1 and 3.9 as examples. With Utopia and other DLCs now folded into the base game, they can assume every player has access to those systems, making it easier to expand and interconnect them. And that's it from this latest batch of new commanders. The 4.5 open beta this summer is shaping up to be one of the biggest patches out there, and if this breakdown helped you out, leave a like because it also helps me out a lot. And as always, commanders, I'll see you guys next time.